And welcome back, everyone. Welcome. Hope you enjoyed that break because we have some more StarCraft before us. We are getting into our second match of the night, Platinum Heroes versus ABYDOS. And I am not alone. I'm joined for the first time in a long time by my lovely and beautiful co-caster. Welcome, Chase, to WTL.
Light, hello, thank you. Before we do the formalities, how do we sync our streams up?
Oh, it's too late for that, buddy. We're already we're committed.
okay.
So we pray, Poppy. We pray.
But yes, hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to Platinum Heroes versus ABYDOS. That's an interesting team name. Got some good players on this team too, Light.
Yeah. If you're familiar with Team NV or Club NV, they have been acquired by a new team, by a new sponsor. And as a result, they've been able to pick up all those players. So Creator, Nightmare, Cure, Quanta, SOS, they are all now playing under the ABYDOS banner.
Oh, interesting. And there's some pretty strong players on the other side as well. As we go spotting in the top left position in the red, it is Creator. Hello, what's your in-game time?
In the bottom right hand corner for Platinum Heroes, we have ShaDoWn, as I'm at 25, 26,
oh my God. Let me speed up.
28, 29, 30.
All right, I'm slightly behind.
I'm
at 35.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. God, we're good.
Beautiful.
All right, yeah. We have got a PvP and Light. We have a smallish kind of ramp, the natural. Looks like we have a low ground gateway from Creator, but a high ground gateway from ShaDoWn.
Yeah. So our French Protoss here, he has shown us in the past, we have been able to cast him a couple of times in WTL, where even on maps where we have a ramp at the natural in a PvP, he's not comfortable going for the gate expand, and he still will go for those 2 gate openers instead.
Yeah, I will have to say I'm not too familiar with like the Korean versus European PvP. I feel like Protoss is like there are some strong Protoss in Europe, like ShaDoWn as well, and Showtime, but I feel like I don't see a lot of kind of cross. Well, it's kind of cross server PvP. Like I feel like, are they playing on US West or?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say disruptor balls would be quite the pain, but yeah, it'd be cool to see, if the European player ShaDoWn, if he sticks with the classic kind of well-known European standard style. On Creator, we know he's good with timings, what he decides to do.
Exactly. Really, the onus for we're all looking at ShaDoWn to see what he can whip out. And already, he's being a little bit pesky with this probe across the map, going to be delaying the natural expansion of Creator for a little bit. We'll see if he can, he's already forced out this out. He goes for a pylon block as well. Meanwhile, ShaDoWn is also going to be more of the aggressor, as he is making 2 stalkers at a time with his own opener.
Yeah, that's right. It was it does look like, was it a double gateway opener for ShaDoWn, just with the 1 gate for Creator, as we see reflected in the minerals. So this probe is barely going to get away with its life. We do see pretty good for ShaDoWn, actually, because even though Creator went for the 1 gateway to be a faster nexus, it does get delayed.
Yeah, this is pretty heavily delayed, to be honest, but Creator's being safe. He's getting a shield battery as well, so even though Creator is going to be behind in the overall army count, he will have that shield battery to support him. So ShaDoWn is going to try and overcome that with his own stalkers. Again, his nexus is going to be a little bit later, but because of all those delays, it's actually not that later compared to Creator.
Yeah, 1 base Protoss is pretty strong, so honestly, it doesn't matter if it's slightly delayed. But yeah, we have a shield battery coming up, pretty kind of standard, considering it's just the 1 gate opener versus 2 gate. ShaDoWn going to do a bit of patrolling, make sure no probes get on the map in case he doesn't want to be cheeky later on. But Twilight Council versus Robo throwing down now. Light, who gets the better end of this kind of tech? But it used to be not so rock paper scissorsy now, but it's still, is there any advantage to either player here?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, ShaDoWn is going to have a more flexible army with a blink, as he should be prioritizing that. Creator will have access to faster immortals, so he's going to have a much more defensible army instead, and I do think that that's going to hit a bit of a stronger timing later on as the game progresses. Meanwhile, before that happens, ShaDoWn is dancing with the army. He's going to be able to get the shield battery, but at the cost, oh my god, of more than 1 stalker.
Yeah, 2 stalkers for a shield battery and a bit of damage on the zealot. Probably not really worth it, but Dark Shrine thrown down, as the observer points out, straight away. And We do see, even though there's not too much scouting information at the front of Creator's Wall, you do see that sentry, and you do see not too many units. So taking a bit of a risk here as Creator goes for another sentry too, but there already is the robot, unfortunately, like.
Yeah, exactly. Because of the robo, we already have access to an observer and creator. Oh, he knows about Protoss. He knows about the Invisible Man. So we already have an observer on the way as well. Creator won't be kind of panicking or freaking out about the lack of detection. Meanwhile, we have two adepts shading into the main base. They do get in. There was no pylon block, but oh, they actually don't get into the mineral line.
Yeah, and they do actually spot that robe, and it'll be interesting to see if from ShaDoWn what he decides to do. Just make a couple of DTs for map control and observer already out, so his Adepts 1 does get away. Or if he decides to commit, it looks like on a Chrono Boost out Blink, and I'm not the smartest when it comes to PvP light. I'm not the most experienced PvP caster. But there's the Sentries and Immortals. It's looking like a potential 2-base move here by Creator if he deflects these DTs.
Definitely, definitely. And Chase, you have all the experience I need, Poppy.
Oh, I've
Oh.
got too much experience. I'll be honest.
It's too
Oh
much
man.
PvP, Poppy. ESL Asia, it's nothing but PvP. Ah. Oh my god. But yeah, so this is pretty committed from ShaDoWn here, right? Like he's committed so much into this tech, into these DTs as well, and he hasn't really been able to get much from it yet, but we have that prism on the way from Creator, so the first signs of aggression are coming out from our Korean Protoss.
Yeah, they certainly are. And the Phoenix, does the hallucinated Phoenix energy go up as it scouts? Is it made, or
Oh,
is it just kind of? It looks like it's slightly going. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
anyway, we have DTs on the map, and we've got charge follow up from ShaDoWn.
We do have that charge full of. The first CT is going to be shut down. The second one is maybe going to be able to get a pylon if that. But again, I'm sure we were looking for some economic damage instead. ShaDoWn going for a ninja base.
Oh wow, yeah, and this is really interesting as we see a forge come down for Creator and a regular third base. This if Curate, he does have sentries and does have observers, so he does have scanning potential. If he scouts it, there's only 2 base here for ShaDoWn. He might be a bit inclined to be defensive, but even you don't necessarily need to see. Yeah, 2 bases is a bit scary, but if you see a lack of infrastructure, there we go, third base, technically a fourth base thrown down. There is ways to mitigate this hidden base, but Creator needs to be active on the map. You can't just let ShaDoWn, macro up and get away with it, especially after this DT opening.
Yeah, and to be fair, ShaDoWn has done a good job at denying the scout. He actually sent a hallucinated scout on the right-hand side earlier, and it was sniped by some stalkers. Now he's going for some more scouting, and he is going to get eyes on the fourth, but as far as he knows, it's going to be the third.
That's the big ruse indeed, Light. And here we go. ShaDoWn's going to scout the third as well. He's going to see that Probe's being chrono boosted out, going to see the army being quite passive, and he's going to be feeling pretty good. Not only is it an extra base of mining, but the probe production can also be a bit faster with the fourth Nexus once the third Wink Wink finishes up here. So as this game goes on, going to be decent here for ShaDoWn, Light.
Keep winking, pal. Oh my god. Like Creator for the time being is none the wiser, and ShaDoWn is getting away with this giga fast fourth base for the time being. Creator, he's just gonna be waiting at home, waiting for his upgrades. We have 3 more gates on the way. We have charge, we have +1 as well. ShaDoWn is gonna be significantly behind in those upgrades, so there is gonna be a window of timing where Creator is gonna have a more effective army, but ShaDoWn may have a larger army just because of the stronger economy.
Yeah, it is a calculated risk that ShaDoWn is doing here. He knows that Creator probably feels comfortable going into the later stage of the game, at least on even footing, as we see a scout get denied there, a lot of stalkers seen. And he's dropped this fourth base pretty quickly. So smart moves by ShaDoWn, being the underdog, I want to say, in this series. But we do have a Dark Shrine here on the way for Creator now, and we know, like, the more bases you have, the harder it can be to deal with DTs and Zealot run-bys.
Yeah, exactly. Those run bys can pull you apart, but Creator is going to have to get eyes on that base if he wants to go for the run by. That's the thing. He's getting his own fourth now at, again, a reasonable time, or even snipes the Observer of ShaDoWn. Nice little sneaky move there from Creator. And +1 is on the horizon. Again, I do feel like he wants to hit a bit of a timing with that upgrade. Overall, Creator has been relatively passive. He's never moved past the halfway point with his main army, but that will soon change.
Yeah, and both players' armies seem to be very gateway heavy. There's not been a lot of investment into tech. Well, I say that there has been Dark Shrines coming out, but it has been always the Warp Prism does just barely get away, but gets caught out. And yeah, he wanted to deny the warp prisms on this angle too, not let the creator see the fourth base. But yeah, it's going to be very gateway centric. Lots of zealots, lots of stalkers, maybe some archons. But ShaDoWn's going to max out first. He might just be going for a pure gateway kind of timing it when he's maxed out. We'll have to see if he wants to move, and it looks like he is now, right?
Yeah, this was the dynamic we were talking about. ShaDoWn has a larger army. He doesn't have +1 though. He has the worst upgrades, but here we go. The Zealots are hitting the third base at the same time. Oh, but a quick reaction from Creator. He will be able to deflect this.
Yeah, forces are warping, and these zealots now coming to engage. There are immortals which are being tanked by the zealots. Shield battery gets popped, and it looks like ShaDoWn. Oh my god, Bear, you okay? ShaDoWn is gonna get the. He just skits down a bit. It doesn't like PvP battles. He wants out the door. I'll be back.
It's all good. It's all good. Yo, I love Bear. You know, he sees the overcharge and he freaks out, and that is the correct response because the overcharge is a terrifying thing to bear witness to. Meanwhile, we do see ShaDoWn being forced back, despite the fact that he has the larger army. He has a massive army supply. He hasn't been able to crack the defenses of Creator, but here we go. He turns around. Meanwhile, Creator is going for a flank.
Yeah, and this army is actually quite isolated here for Creative. Maybe a few more Blink Stalkers could blink in and get a bit of damage done. There's a lot of charge lots, but Creator's going to have the concave here, but he's not going to have a shield battery. So maybe ShaDoWn can get something done with his pure numbers, but he's just going to back off and transition to Disruptors instead.
Yeah, both players are, but Creator is actually getting there a little bit faster. The Bay just finished up, his second robo is finishing up as well. ShaDoWn is cornering himself a little bit. He's going to be pushing in towards the fourth base. Creator is coming from behind. Maybe Creator getting out of position.
Yeah, shield battery not too defended, does get popped, but it looks like the surround, like the Creator's coming from every angle. And what does ShaDoWn do? Hasn't got the base, does get a couple of workers, but these are mortals and then the warp prism and the stalkers. Oh my god, I think ShaDoWn's just going to lose a lot of this army, but the supply tells a pretty similar story. Like,
yeah, ShaDoWn loses army, but he takes a base. He has a massive economic lead right now. He just has to be careful not to lose too much. A couple of reinforcements are trickling in. ShaDoWn, he's maybe able to get even an immortal. Up. Ooh.
Yeah, this is extended skirmish going on here as we see ShaDoWn is going to get pushed back. Creator now starting his disruptor production. We do see actually consolidating at this fourth base here. There's no shield battery, throwing one down now, but as the observer pointed out, he still does not know that ShaDoWn even has this base light.
Yeah, he doesn't know how far behind economically he is, and that's why even though ShaDoWn lost a lot of army, he traded army for economy, and this is something that ShaDoWn can afford and something that Creator cannot. But we're getting into double disruptor production, and even if Creator is down 30 supply, 40 supply, 50 supply, it doesn't matter in the face of disruptors.
That's right. The disruptor is a great equalizer. I have found many a time on the ladder. I found out at the LAN this weekend as Sephiroth knocked me out. But we do see another run by on the left-hand side, and this is what PvP is. Here we see the fourth wink base being found here. Does just barely snipe that cannon, so there's no detection for this DT. Going to stretch it down a bit, but a recall going down also back. There's action on everywhere, like.
Oh, there is action everywhere. Nova's going to be going off. One disruptor will go down, and the fourth base of Creator is going to fall here to the Zealot run by ShaDoWn. Has quite a bit of momentum despite being the underdog. That ninja base really is paying off for him.
Yeah, I feel like Creator's the kind of player. This is a best of two, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, Creator's the kind of player that, you know, if he spots how fast his base was, it could potentially tilt him going into game number 2. So just seeing the economy really skyrocket. 83 probes to 61, a bit of a bank for ShaDoWn too. And, you know, Creator, he wants to transition, but he needs at least a fifth base to comfortably go to that transition.
Yeah, exactly. He really does. He can still take a fight, but he desperately needs to win the next engagement. Nova's going to be going off, zoning away ShaDoWn's army. ShaDoWn likewise also has disruptors of his own, and the advantage that ShaDoWn has is that sure, he has his main army that can dance with Creator, but he also has a massive Zealot run by 4, so he can just pull Creator apart because of the sheer numbers.
Yeah, well, that's right. And Blink Stalkers are reasonably mobile, but you got to contend this. Oh! Disruptor comes in, grabs a Zealot. Disruptors are a little bit, they're fantastic units, but they can be a little isolated. As another ball goes off that we do miss what happened there. Looks like it was dodged. At Creator, if he manages to max out, maybe he can get something done, but just look at the Zealot run by. Like,
Yeah.
it's a Zealot horde by.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's one of those things where even if Creator wins a fight, like, we're going to see a massive Zealot counterattack, and he may just lose a base as a result. Meanwhile, no!
Ooh.
Oh my god. Nova almost connects. ShaDoWn's massive Zealot run by just gets revealed, and I'm sure Creator's thinking like, how the hell does he have all these units? It's crazy.
Yeah, creators probably think he's run by, run into another run by, but he's going to be forced back through the shield batteries to fall back upon on that base. But
Oh,
as oh my days, a couple of disruptors getting taken out there. Good news for creators. I think they were creators, ShaDoWn
yeah.
disruptors, right?
Yeah, Creator, he just reset the disruptor count from ShaDoWn. Very nice control. And this is what we were talking about. Creator can still out control his opponent in a PvP despite being down in supply. And now Creator has a little bit more momentum. Now ShaDoWn doesn't have any disruptors.
Yeah, and even if he's just like, ShaDoWn's comfortably blinking away from Creative Disruptors, you do force that blink to go on cooldown, which means you have to be a bit careful in a case like this, as we see, just finishing in time, another blink away. Warp Prism speed, is that finishing up light for Creator? Oh my days, no blink at that time.
Yeah, and there we go. Nova will connect, will clip the edge of that army. Another Nova going to be going off here, and likewise gets a couple of those Stalkers. Creator just trading more and more efficiently, and he has been able to equalize the supplies. He's actually kind of like a Supermax Steven, as he has quite a large army supply.
Oh, and a forward blink there by Creator. Unfortunately, he can't escape now. Disruptor coming down, blinks away to ShaDoWn, and now these Immortals are going to get caught out if ShaDoWn blinks forward. This is scary for Creator Light.
Well, it really is, but the Novas are going off and they are catching this army. A lot of Stalkers are going down in the retreat, but ShaDoWn has the momentum.
He certainly does, but now up against the wall, there's nowhere to kind of run away as another Disruptor comes in. Oh, does get a hit, taking out some Stalkers. Shield Barrier does get popped, but it's just such a large army for ShaDoWn. Even if he didn't win this fight so convincingly, just look at the bank slide.
Yeah, look at the bank. ShaDoWn can rebuild. Creator cannot. We do have some reinforcements trickling on in. It looks like Creator can maybe try and hold on to this base, but it's looking unlikely even with the Disruptor.
Yeah, very resilient kind of hold here by Creative. I don't know if you really called a hold, but he does now scout this base in the bottom right. Doesn't know how long it's been there for, but his base in the top right goes down. And just looking at the production tab, ShaDoWn's going to start just pumping out economy, pumping out gateway units and disruptors. His economy is looking great.
Yeah, and again, I'm sure Creator's thinking to himself, how did this happen? How does he have so much compared to me? What did I miss? Hopefully he doesn't pay too much attention to the replay.
Yeah, hopefully he misses that too, like.
Yeah, hopefully, as ShaDoWn is going to blink on forward aggressively, get on top of everything here, and even if he just fights Creator in the face, it's going to be too much. GG gets called. ShaDoWn takes the first game.
Yeah, strong showing, really good kind of game plan by ShaDoWn, but also the resilience by Creator. He was looking pretty decent. His army got pretty good, was pretty good quality army, but unfortunately, just took that fight, took a forward blink right as that Zealot flank came in, and yeah, when the economy is, it doesn't seem like a lot, just one base. When it's 3 base versus 3 base, but that's faster gas, it's faster units, it's a bit more kind of flexibility when it comes to hiding your army from harass. So. Well played to ShaDoWn, and hopefully Creator doesn't get too tilted by that light.
Yeah, because it can be really frustrating to, after the game, realize that you were behind for so long and you didn't even notice, you didn't even know why, like what was happening in that game, just missing an entire base for so long in that game. I want to say for over 5 minutes. ShaDoWn was up like 20 workers, like he had a massive economy advantage, and with that he could afford to go for all these Zealot run-bys to deny more bases, to just pull Creator apart because he just had more overall until the very end. So yeah, I mean, it also goes to show that ShaDoWn probably needed an advantage like that to overcome a player like Creator, but he pulled it off. Like, props to ShaDoWn.
Yeah, he certainly did, and we saw that. He did stick to the game plan, get economy, make lots of units, be aggressive. So even if you take a fight that's not so convincing, your production's not very stifled or not under any threat, and he just kind of took that game and went away with it. So it's a big win for the Platinum Hero fans, but the ABYDOS fans, which I know there's a lot of, don't fret. Raider is still one of the strongest Protoss in the world, really, like, isn't he? He's been around for a very long time.
100%, mate. I remember him back on the Prime days. A little bit of controversy with Prime, of course, but of course.
Yeah.
But Creator was on Prime alongside Amaru, alongside Bjorn. Like, there was so many amazing players on Prime back in the day, and yeah, Creator has been around for a long time.
Yeah, as we go into map number 2, which is going to be Ancient Cistern. Now, when I was at the land light,
Oh.
everyone called this the old toilet map. Apparently, cistern means toilet. Does it? Um,
Yeah, I heard Moonglade. I think Moonglade was all over that, right? Like I heard that in the car and I was like, what? I was I was very confused. Yeah. Is that what it means?
cistern is from
Oh.
Latin, a waterproof receptacle for holding liquids, usually water. Often built to catch and store rainwater, distinguished from wells by their waterproof lining. So, I guess the toilet's pretty similar.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just a bit confused when I said Vita Ancient Cistern, and they just said, "Okay, toilet map." I didn't. There's no toilets on this map, is there? Like,
No, no, there aren't. And I didn't quite understand it before, but yeah, Moonglade and Sano were all over that meme during the stream, and I was very confused. I was like, what? But okay, there we go. So yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one. I mean, honestly, ShaDoWn's already done his job. It's a best of 2, which means all you have to do is win one game to like technically beat your opponent. But here we go in the bottom left hand corner, we have representing ABYDOS Creator.
and in the top right we have ShaDoWn representing Platinum Heroes. Look at that, like
Oh,
efficiency.
beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, we were talking about this a couple of days. Every stream we talk about this. You know, the WTL observer. You know, he has no chill. He just in and out, just bam.
He is, yeah. It's very efficient.
Mhm.
But that's okay. We like a challenge, don't we? Like
Yeah, sometimes we like it quick. You know.
we do. We like having to transition quickly. It's good for training the casting muscles.
Oh yeah.
As we see a light. Speaking of casting muscles,
Mhm.
we are casting a game right now.
Oh, your observational skills are 10 out of 10, Chase. Let's
Observation skills are also a casting muscle, right?
go. There you go. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. As we are getting into game 2, and again, because it's a best of 2, like ShaDoWn has already done an amazing job. You know, he's already taken the game of Creator, and that is, you know, all we can ask from him, right? Anything else from here is a bonus because Creator is the favorite player, and you know that he's got a really nice Liga score as a result.
Yeah, he certainly is. As we see a cheeky little probe up the top here. What could this be like? It can't be a proxy robo, right? It's too far away. Is
Yeah.
it proxy Stargate? The proxy location suggests to me that he kind of wants to, not fully kind of commit with it. It doesn't make sense. ShaDoWn being the underdog, upper game, nothing to lose. But is it a proxy? It can't be proxy DT, right?
I don't think it's a proxy anything. We haven't seen this in a while. This kind of fell out of the meta, actually, now that I think about it. This used to be a lot more common back in like 2020 and even before that, where Protoss players would proxy their second pylon just to have it out on the map, just to get into the mind game and meta game their opponent and make them think that they were committing to a proxy.
Yeah, well, he's metagamed my casting light. I'll give him that. But yeah, the 2 stalkers coming out. That's 50 gas, 100 gas or so. Yeah, it looks like he's not going to commit to anything. A depth follow up as well. And as you said, like this is the whole thing where you kind of try and throw your opponent off by doing something tricky, and they just don't scout anyway. So it's like it's happened to me. Happens to me so many times.
True. Aye. And I mean, to be fair, like Creator, he's like scouting all over the place with his probes. Like he is doing the best that he can to try and look for where this pylon could be, just in case there is a proxy. He actually had a second probe on the right hand side of the map as well, so he is just being very vigilant with his scouting.
That he is always a good habit to be in as a scatter and creator. Oh, look, this probe is going around. Maybe he did actually pick up that there was a pylon missing, scouting the more popular proxy spots as these stalkers come in first hit. Oh, looks like just going to back out. Just a little toe poking, confirming the expansion. Shield battery as well. Is Creator actually going to find this pylon though? Like,
Yeah, that's the question. Creator, he's actually pretty close to it with that probe in the top left-hand corner of the map. Meanwhile, we do have Twilight Council openers all around, so
ooh,
nothing too crazy. Ooh.
right, we have another pylon at the top left from Creator. Oh, the adepts get in.
Oh, the wall was not a wall. We do have some shield batteries. Oh my god, the adepts are going to get trapped, but they will get 2 probes for themselves, just barely at the end.
Yeah, not too sure if that's exactly worth it. I guess you're trading out attacking as long as you're not getting attacked soon. You are trading out harassing units for workers. So, oh, does lose a stalker, unfortunately, but Dark Shrine going down. And like, when I see 3 sentries, I don't think Dark Shrine is going, the choice. So this is interesting by ShaDoWn. So interesting by Creator. Could throw off ShaDoWn quite well.
Yeah, I do think Creator's a little bit upset after that first loss. He's like, mate, I'm a clown. You. So yeah, the Dark Shrine is on the way. As we're saying, 3 sentries usually signify hyper defensive, hyper like economic. We're all about scouting, we're all about responding. So ShaDoWn could be deceived here. He is going for some depths across the map, but he's forced to recall as Creator is also moving out.
Yeah, we have another pylon, and the probe just goes between both of Creator's buildings. So a bit of painting in the top left of the map. But it looks like neither player is committed to a third base yet. They're both going for Dark Shrine,
Yep.
and they're both being proxied pretty close to each other. So like, I'm no expert, but I think there's a little word called irony that could be applied here.
This is insert Spider-Man meme. Let's go. I would love it, by the way, because Creator is going to warp into DTs first, because his Dark Shrine is a little bit faster. I would love it if he warps in DTs, he ends up heading on over in that direction, and he finds the other proxy Dark Shrine. That'd be amazing.
I've just realized though, is there no robo for both players? This could be checkmate, right?
I think this could be it. Yeah. There's no robo, I don't think.
Oh no! I think he's spotted. He's spotted it.
He sees. He's going to be body blocking the ramp, so there's no entry into the main base. But the DT is still going to be getting a lot of probe kills at the natural base. Likewise, though, Creator, is he going to be as prepared?
Yeah, and there's literally nothing here for ShaDoWn. He's throwing down a robo right now. There's only 1 DT, but I think that this is just ShaDoWn's going to take too much damage. He's already lost 5 workers, and he's nowhere near, being able to do counter damage either.
Yeah, like his own warp into DTs was delayed because of all the panic and because he was trying to get his own robo. There we go. The third base is going to be denied. But DTs are waddling across the map, and likewise, Creator doesn't have detection, but he does have a robo on the way.
Yes, that he does. As we see, the force field's going down. Can afford 1 more force field as these probes going to scramble. They were able to mine a bit longer than ShaDoWn, so Creator does have slightly more kind of resources invested. But ooh, a force field not pushing back. Was that force field through the DT?
It looked like it. It looked like it was through the DP, mate. Oh my god! As we do see ShaDoWn gonna be losing his natural getting scarily low, to be honest. Meanwhile, the DT in the main has made it in, but the pylon is saved.
The pylon is force fielded off. But yeah, it looks like, is he going to commit to the pylon? Because probably the observer's going to finish anyway, but it looks like both players are going to be able to have enough crisis management to clean up their opponent's dark DTs, but this is the sort of game state like where adaptability really comes into the fray, and ShaDoWn just says, I cannot adapt to this, GG. Great, it takes game 2.
Oh my god, what a PvP, what a clown fiesta. Chase, this is what's great about PvP, okay?
Yeah, did ShaDoWn lose his third base set? Because yeah, it's actually down 2 work. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, he lost his third and Creator saved his own third, so he was down a base here, and they were around even in workers, as you pointed out.
No, that was yeah, that was entertaining game.
Like,
but yeah,
that was some StarCraft. Yeah,
that was indeed some StarCraft. Sorry. Next up is going to be another PvP, Art versus Nightmare on Neo Humanity, which is a weird map.
Here we go. So the PvPs will continue. The Europe versus Korean matchup will continue. And this is going to be an interesting one because Art is a pretty accomplished Polish Protoss player. Nightmare, even though he's a little bit of an underdog, even though he's overshadowed by Creator and by Hero and by Classic in Korea, Nightmare, specifically in PvP, is pretty damn good.
He certainly is. He's a pretty creative player as well. He's one that I wouldn't say is one of the first names you think of when you think of the Korean Protosses. There's a lot of Hero is well known. Even Prince has kind of popped up. I'd put him maybe on a similar level to Prince, but he's a player who definitely has the potential to take games off some pretty strong players. And Art is we've casted Art before. Like he's been in the Platypus Fortuna Cup Open Swamp.
Swamp?
Swamp. Like the lake's a swamp. Okay, global warming's taken hold.
Oh no.
It'll be interesting. I feel like this play is reasonably evenly matched. I give a slight advantage to Nightmare though.
Yeah, I would give the advantage to Nightmare as well, but I would have given a greater advantage to Creator, and he still dropped a game to ShaDoWn. So, you know, even though we have our favorites, because these are prepared matches in a Team League format, upsets can happen, upsets have happened, and anything can happen.
Anything can happen indeed, Light. I mean, that's what we just saw in the last series. We had a very interesting kind of interesting kind of I'm kind of surprised. It was a bit of a role reversal with ShaDoWn doing the wacky stuff and Creator doing the more kind of macro orientated play. Except, well, I guess the DT versus DT was the two macro orientated, but we kind of see that even when it's when you're the underdog, it doesn't matter because ABYDOS is so good it can beat other ABYDOS.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, the
PvP really is.
Oh my god. So yeah, I'm honestly pretty excited about this. I'm sure Art is pretty pumped as well because ABYDOS is one of the stronger teams in Code A, as you could probably tell. They have a lot of really big heavy hitters, and Platinum Heroes, they know it's a bit of a mountain to climb, but for ShaDoWn to already start that first step up the mountain by taking a game from Creator, like suddenly Platinum Heroes, they are in this series. They can even take the series if things go well for them.
Yeah, they're starting to believe like it can be done. The gods do bleed.
Yes.
Yes, I do agree. It's always encouraging, even if you don't get the win 2-0. It's always encouraging when so obviously you're going to prepare together. You're going to have different plans together, and it's good signs when even if your plan doesn't work, knowing that one of your teammates' plans still work is a bit of a little morale boost to how you approach the series.
100%. I'm sure it does wonders for his mental coming into this. As the players are just preparing their lobby, they're preparing the map. You're mentioning it yourself. Game 1 is going to be on Near Humanity. A very interesting map for a PvP. A very small map as well. It can lead to some aggression. But in the top left-hand corner for ABYDOS.
And in the bottom right corner, it's Art. Come on, Light. Come on, Light.
ABYDOS players look the same. What messes me up every time, I don't know if it's messing you up, but Nightmare is on the top, but in the UI his name is on the bottom.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, I can see you get tripped up by that.
Yeah.
You know what helps, Light?
What helps?
Nightmare in the bottom is red and Nightmare in the top left is red. Maybe try that.
True. Oh, and if only I wasn't colorblind.
Oh no.
Yes. But
here we go. It is a 1-1 Light. Anyone's game.
Anyone's game. Let's go. We are going to be getting some, I believe, 2 gate openers here from our players. We do have that set up before us. And Chase, are we going to play a game?
Like, this is my favorite game. You know why?
Why?
Because I get it wrong every time. But I can see you make it. We're gonna have 2 stalkers and we're gonna have 2 adepts. Check this out. Check
from
this
who?
out.
From who?
2 stalkers from Art and 2 adepts from Nightmare.
I'm gonna say.
What do you think?
I'm gonna say 2 stalkers from Nightmare, and I'm gonna say 2 stalkers from Art.
Oh my god, Light! That's such a safe bet.
Kind of.
I mean, there is 3 on each gas. So maybe Art will be going for stalkers. Is that what I said? Yes, I did.
Yeah, you said Art Stalker, you said Nightmare Adept. Yeah.
Here we go. Like the Cybercores finish up.
Let's go. What's it gonna be? Huh? You got it reversed.
And the wrong way around. But he's floating 150 gas. What is this? Oh my god.
He's going for a proxy pylon, mate. Let's go. This is actually pretty well set up for a proxy Stargate.
Yeah, it's a pretty good position. The location of it, it's maybe one of the more easier ones to scout. But here we see, the 2 stalkers from Nightmare, it does help out, but Stargate is down. The extra gas that Art has got is going to probably be an Oracle, I believe.
Yeah, I imagine so. I imagine so. As Nightmare is going to be moving out here, looking to try and catch those adepts in the middle of the map. Art, likewise, is going to try his best to avoid this, and I love it. Look at the piling of those adepts. They go around the long way. They avoid those stalkers. They're going to be slipping past and trying to get across the map. But oh, Nightmare did have
Ooh.
control of the watchtower.
Yeah, he did too, and he's going to chase that probe. Is going to go away. But now there's 2 stalkers for Nightmare across the map. There are 2 more as well, but we see Nightmare maybe not going to want to risk going up in case he gets, those stalkers about to pop again. He could get some stalkers sniped as well. But fortunately, it's just going to be a pretty chill opening of Pomada, except for the proxy oracle light.
Yeah, true. The Oracle is on the way. Nightmare, is he going to be checking that location? He is looking for a proxy. Checks the top right. Nothing is here. Will he check over there on the left? Is he going? Oh, I think he's going.
I think he is going. There's 6 stalkers on the field. Man, he's being pretty serious here. There we go. He scouts it. Like, the oracle is gone.
It's going in, Puppy. It's going
Oh,
in,
no.
but he pulls back because he's been scouted.
Yeah, no, I feel like he should have committed. Is he gonna? Oh no, no. Oh, this is not it.
This is the worst case scenario, Papi. This is not. I mean, I do understand why he pulled back, because I think because the pylon had already been scouted, he expected Nightmare to be ready for him. But it was kind of the worst of both worlds, because he also took some hull damage there.
Yeah, having to activate I think he activated the beam as well, did he? Yeah, not too great. And yeah, I do, as you said, do understand as these 2 adepts are gonna. Oh, nice little block there. Does get 1 probe for his troubles. I do understand there's a lot of stalkers on the map, but oh, he's gonna lose it now. And yeah, this might just kill the Protoss light.
It may. I mean, we do have an overcharge. We do have some nice force fields as well. Art trading very efficiently, even pulling some boys. Nightmare is going to have a hard time breaking through that shield battery overcharge. Oh my god.
Yeah, and the fight ending not just yet. We do have Blink about to finish up, and this is quite deadly here for Nightmare. If he gets another warp in, but an Immortal joining the fray, and that could be enough to hold the position here, Light.
Yeah, but Nightmare, he's going for a proxy gateway. He has a 3 gateway production. He is on 1 base right now against the 2 base of Art. Nightmare is committed. He has to end the game. He blinks on forward and he dives on top of the Immortal. Oh, god.
Yeah, and he just barely get it, which means this attack can be sustained. He can continue to warp in. Another Immortal is about to pop, but if he keeps getting more Stalkers, and the shield battery, I don't think there's enough energy for another overcharge just yet. He could potentially get some damage done here, but needs to blink very well.
Yeah, I feel like Nightmare is kind of running out of steam. He does come in with some reinforcements, but that last Immortal took 3 volleys to kill, and he did so much damage to the Stalkers.
That he did do, Light, as we now see. Nexus being thrown down from Nightmare, just the natural, so he's actually very far behind here. So decent hold by Art, considering how the opening went. He is a little behind in tech, even though he does have Immortals, because that Stargate did get, taken out, but actually, I don't think he's too far behind in tech at all, really.
He's just lacking Blink, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the only really thing he is going to be missing here, but the Immortal count's getting higher and higher, so the defensive capability here at the natural is quite powerful. I don't think Nightmare can break this, but he's not interested in breaking it. He's interested in trying to slip past, and the Adepts get in!
The Adepts do get in, and this is trouble now, because Art needs to split perfectly to deal with this. Like, the Immortals are now isolated.
Yeah, we do see Nightmare blink on forward at the natural base. It looks like he's trying to focus down that Immortal. Looks like he got it!
Yeah, and the shield battery is overcharged, but there's not enough army, and this might be the opening Nightmare was looking for. Even taking out this pylon that was not kind of manually targeted, but wow, fantastic trades here for Nightmare, which means his attack can now, he might even be able to break some more. There's no shield batteries.
Yeah, like Art's defense was looking so solid, but all it took was 2 Adepts even, 1 fell swoop from Nightmare, and suddenly everything turns on its head. He's looking to dive in once again. Only a single, 1 Immortal, 1 Adept, and 1 Stalker left. Yeah,
and GG is called as that Immortal falls in Art, unfortunately. It just goes to show you that even when you're looking pretty decent, at all times you need to be careful. You need to be vigilant. It was just one small kind of mistake, and maybe he could have split up a little bit better. It's hard to kind of say. We can say it with what's the word? Hindsight.
Hindsight, yes.
Hindsight, yes, yeah. But yeah, Nightmare was just just shows, you know, you can never be too careful when a Protoss is outside your base like that.
100%, 100%. Yeah, I think that may also be ping a little bit, because if you saw, Art did go for the pylon block to stop those adepts, but it was like half a second too late. Like the shade somehow like slipped barely past the pylon as the pylon was thrown down. So that was literally half a second timing, which is such a shame for Art. He was so close to blocking it. And also, as you said, maybe not the wisest of choice to split up the immortals. Like, one immortal went up to deal with the adepts instead of staying back at the natural, and that was, I feel like, a pretty crucial error there. Would that have made the difference? It's hard to say. Hard to say.
Yeah, it certainly is, and yeah, it makes sense. 500 ping tends to be what all my opponents get when I play on the NA ladder. So, but yeah, it was unfortunate. It was just a case of the pylon not going in. It's a very, very kind of sharp timing, and as you said, the immortal doesn't do any bonus damage to adepts, so and it is a little bit chunky. So it would have definitely been better on the front line. Nightmare may be taking advantage of that, even just poking at the front to see, and he just saw this one immortal, had his blink, took it out, and ABYDOS is going to lead set 2 1-0.
Oh, yeah, they definitely are. And now it is going to be Art's map pick to bring it all back, and he has chosen for game 2 to take place on Ancient Cistern.
Ancient System, wasn't that just Ancients? Oh no, that was a game before.
Yeah.
That was Near Humanity again. It was just 30 seconds ago we were talking about the toilets.
All the PvPs are blending together, Poppy. They're blending together.
Oh no.
Oh my god. But yeah, you know, we had a really interesting PvP on this map earlier. That was the DT versus DT Spider-Man meme where Creator...
that's right. Yeah.
You okay, Chase?
Right.
Okay.
when are we going to the wilderness together?
To the I haven't been playing RuneScape recently, but you know who hasn't either? In the top right hand corner, it is Art.
And also in the bottom left hand corner, it is Nightmare.
See, this was easy because it's actually correlating with the positioning. Like Art is
up true. It does make it a bit easier. But yeah, like, do you see what I see?
Oh, Protoss?
I see too much Protoss, yes. But yeah, this is going to be, it looks like a bit of in-base versus in-base. Makes sense because there is no ramp at that natural. Are we going to see any shenanigans this game?
Oh, that is the question. Again, Ancient Cistern is a very large map. There's plenty of room out there to proxy, as we saw in the last series where both Protoss players proxied. It can be really difficult to scout as well, as Nightmare is going to be sending out his probe for a scout. Art doing no such thing.
No such thing at all. Two gateways from both players, as we see. It looks like just a simple scout from Nightmare. Does scout. Does either 2 on gas, you know, actually 2 on 2 gas. I think it's kind of standard just to rally probes into gas. Actually, I don't think it's actually a huge tell. I'm going to pretend it is because then it looked like I'm a smart caster. To say 3 in the gas. I'm sure these players have these little optimizations like that they kind of know.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And speaking of knowing what they're doing, Chase, it's time to play that game again.
Both players are going to go 2 stalkers each. Like the map's too big.
Ooh,
2 stalkers each.
I'm going to diverge, and I'm going to go for your original one. I'm going to say Nightmare, double adept.
Oh my days, double adept again, like...
Oh,
see,
let's go!
Oh my god, how am I wrong for both? Yeah,
to be fair, from my prediction, it was implied that Art would go double stalker, so I didn't know that Art would go stalker sentry.
that's okay, lad. Actually, ooh, scanning for proxies already. This is the thing I hate about high level PvP. Like Zerg can't really proxies. If you can, you know, if you're someone crazy like me, or Micro or Golden, but you really can't play too much outside the creep shape box. In this matchup, you gotta scout half the map just to make sure you're safe. You know.
Yeah.
And even then, you're not guaranteed to be safe.
Yeah, I'm not jealous. Like I'm not envious. Sorry, about the position of these Protoss players, where like a map like this is just anything could be out there. So they have to be very vigilant with their scouting. Speaking of, Art does throw down his second pylon in the middle of the map, towards the center top portion of the map, and he is going for a faster Twilight Council. He's delaying his Nexus, so this can lead to a faster blink if he wants to. He can also go
Oh.
for a Dark Shrine. Ooh.
Yeah, it does actually let those adepts get in, but he did have units in position. Phoenix is going to be scouting away and going to see the setup here. Blink already on the way, where we have a Twilight not yet halfway even finished for Nightmare. So this is a slight deviation for both players, but nothing too crazy so far.
Yeah, Nightmare focusing on his economy, Art focusing on his aggression, as he will have a timing here with Blink, where his opponents will not have Blink. So we'll see if he can actually make use of that, because, you know, there's going to be a decent period here where he will have that advantage.
Yeah, no, it wasn't really anything really crazy happened early on. As these adepts do shade, they're going to try and get in again. Ping abuser, Nightmare at it again. But it was just the fact that, you know, these adepts only cost what, like 25 gas each, and Art had to spend, or is it 150 gas, right? He had to spend 125 more gas to get the Stalker and Sentry, as a little bit of tanking going on to save the adept. So nothing crazy, just a bit of a difference between them. But these Stalkers going to get surrounded, like.
Oh my god, the little minute details there of the control of Nightmare was actually really slick. He takes down both Stalkers, the Adept Micro and the Adept Shade timing as well. That was clean.
Yes, it was indeed. An Art already down. He's already down. Oh, there we go. He's making a couple units now. He was down like 9 supply, which is a little scary this early in the game. But these two adepts also going to get spotted. Needs to be a bit vigilant to not lose. And it looks like the caster is not. Sorry, the observer is missing it. But we are going to lose both of those adepts as well.
Yeah,
maybe one
but
running away.
they are going to be going down, but you know, at least we know that the hallucination got a full scat of the main.
True.
That's important, Poppy. As of course, Nightmare is fully aware of the timing of the natural. He should be aware that he's reasonably ahead, or he knows exactly what is transpiring across the map. We do see though Art slipping into the main. What is in the main of Nightmare?
Yeah, we do see a robo finish. Observer, wise choice. You know, the series are going, but a few workers going down. Some Stalkers in the other side as well. Blinking down too. Ooh, does waste some shots on those Stalkers there. There is a decently positioned shield battery, but these Stalkers probably going to get taken out soon enough because Blink is now finished for both players. But yeah, some worker damage done for both, and the worker count ends up being pretty even.
Yeah, that was actually really sick from Art. So he actually went for a hallucinated Phoenix to get high ground vision, and then he blinked up into the main base, into the main of Nightmare. A nice little run by there, getting an economic advantage as he is up almost 3 or so probes. Something definitely that can be significant as the time goes on. Art throws down a third base immediately, but Nightmare is here to see it.
That he is. He may even just cancel it if the Stalker's here. Does not want to commit too hard. Blink is pretty scary, both for you and when your opponent has it. But we see the third base going down for Art is Nightmare going to take his own third. It looks like he may be gearing up for a bit of an attack here, hoping to stretch Art thin instead.
Yeah, there we go. The Prism is done, and Nightmare's going to be going across the map, but we do have an Immortal, a hallucinated Immortal as well. So Art, being a little bit cheeky, forcing Nightmare back.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty cute move there. The second, and it might even make Nightmare feel a little bit like, oh, am I really that far behind on Immortal production? But gonna blink in, targets the right Immortal. Now he's gonna back up a little bit light. Can he tell that it's an hallucinated one though?
That's the question, but doesn't even matter, mate, as he does take the fight in the end. He's got Blink, he's got a Prism to reinforce across the map as well, and he's pushing on through. Art behind this. I think he went for a second Forge. Regardless, of Forge is on the way. Immortals are coming out, but they're exposed. They're left alone, not supported by the army. Oh, God.
Oh, no. And the third Immortal, wink, wink, gets taken out, and just Stalker's left. And even with the Blink Micro, the War Prism offers some extra Blink Micro, Guardian Shield too late, and this is looking phenomenal for Nightmare.
It really is. Like, he's just going to be overwhelming and overpowering the army of Art here. He is down in the supplies. He has a third base, but he can't really make use of it. We have some shield batteries on the way at the natural as well. We have an Immortal this time. Oh, no, it's coming in. No!
No, look!
Get out of the way.
Oh, no, the actual building blocking. Oh, no, let it die. That's going to be GG, right?
No, GG. Nightmare will take the series 2-0.
Yeah, just a really good attack angle there from Nightmare. Cute moves by Art to kind of build, kind of hallucinate the immortal there, but need to be a little bit more passive. Luckily for, I don't know if it's because he got a shot off on the hallucinated one, so much damage was done, but luckily blinked in and sniped the right immortal, and that just kind of snowballed from there as the other immortals got cut off from the rest of the Art's army. Like,
Yeah, the blinking, the winking, the blunking. It was all amazing from Nightmare. He does take it 2-0 in a pretty powerful performance. Art did put up his own fight, but alas, unfortunately, especially here, he just had a little bit of an awkward positioning with his army. We saw Immortal after Immortal rally in, and I guess if he had maybe a better understanding of the economic position of his opponent, maybe it would have been wiser to give up that third base location, focus on your defense at your natural, and just have a more secure reinforcement point from your Immortals. It's hard to say. Regardless, congratulations to Nightmare, and now we move on to the next series.
is this our final series, Light?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Oh, so if if it's even, say that Goblin 2-0's Cure, will we have like
We'll have an ace match.
An ace match? Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So technically, Goblin needs to 2-0 right now. If Cure takes even one game, ABYDOS wins. ABYDOS, they only need one game win to move on to the next round. Platinum Heroes need to 2-0. They cannot allow Cure to take a game.
I assume we play out the series, even if Cure wins the first match.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Va bene. Okay. I'm on it, like.
All good, mate. All good. So the pressure is on a Goblin right now, and yeah, Goblin has been doing pretty well for himself overall. Quickly checking last night, Goblin was able to go toe-to-toe with Spats. And yeah, if I recall correctly, there was another series. Yeah, Goblin, he actually took a game off of Dongrei Gu earlier in this tournament, earlier in the bracket. So Goblin has been looking good in some of his other matchups, but now he's up against one of the best Terrans in the world.
Yes, and that is Cure. Cure's always been around. Cure's always been fundamentally a solid player. Good to learn builds off of as well, the Cure builds. I think Cure is actually, correct me if I'm wrong, Light, but kind of was one of the pioneers of the 3-rack style that's popped up recently. Not as popular as it used to be, at least in TVZ, but it did shake up the meta a little bit. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he goes up against Goblin, who I want to say Goblin has the potential to. Yeah, I really feel like Goblin can beat Cure, especially with the tricks of the Trader Protoss, but consistency might just be something which could be an issue in a best of 2 setting.
Yeah, it really can be. I mean, I do believe in Goblin to take a game, but can he take a series? Well, here he is in the top right-hand corner for Platinum Heroes, Goblin.
And his opponent in the bottom left for ABS, it's Cure.
Here we go. And yeah, you're right in pointing out that Cure, I think it was in the more 2020, 2021 era of Legacy of the Void, relatively recently, we would just see constant 3-racks builds in TVP, at least once in a best of series. Like, it really is a build that did kind of reverberate throughout kind of the scene and the community.
It certainly was, and it was one that it was so effective because it looked pretty similar. You can make it look pretty similar to a 2-in-1, which was standard in the meta, but just had a bit more kind of oomph, and it was something that Zerg had to really like. They didn't really want to have to trade into it because that many Marines so early on is always going to trade efficiently, but it also was something that Terran players, they were able to kind of streamline into their 2-base fill-up a bit better because they had that extra racks for faster production. Didn't have to commit as this probe is committing to a Racing's SCV. But that's the past. This is now, and we've got actually 3 SCVs kind of chilling out around here. So
yeah, Cure taking this very seriously. He really wants to take his expansion on location without being harassed. He's even waiting here on top of the ramp as well just to get a couple of hits in, but Goblin is able to get past and yeah, just trying to be as annoying as possible without losing his probe. Ooh.
Yeah, and some cute little moves there. As it's not huge. But you see the micro capability that these players are capable of. And as they're not just good at microing lots of units at once, but also just the occasional one or two. They're yeah. But we kind of do see here that Command Center thrown down on location, and Reaper is going to get a scat off here. Like,
Yeah, the Reaper is going to be zooming out across map. It was a gas expand or a Rax expand from Cure, so a very economic opener overall. And thankfully, he isn't skipping his Reaper scout, which he is sometimes prone to do, just to be a little bit greedy. But against a player like Goblin in this Team League match, he doesn't want to take a risk.
no, not at all. And sees the natural base timing. Bunker going down for our Terran player. Twilight cancel, pretty kind of standard, I want to say, follow-up. Twilight Tech also the Blink Stalkers and Charge Knots always going to be common in this matchup. And we do have, it looks like, a Reactor going down. Could potentially be some Reaper, nice wall off here, Reaper Hellion shenanigans. But good thing that, Q would invest in more Reapers because it's going to be hard to get in the main here.
Yeah, I mean, Kira did scout that Twilight Council, and I'm a little bit surprised it's not a Stargate opener because I feel like these larger maps can kind of benefit Stargate openers a little bit. You do have a little bit more room to work with, to maneuver between the bases. It takes longer for your opponent to counterattack. So, interesting choice from Goblin. It may kind of lead to aggression later on. He is working on his next gateway, and he may work up towards 4 gates. We'll keep an eye on that as Kira, again, is going for a relatively standard follow-up.
Yeah, and this Adept could be in a bit of trouble with the Reaper and the Hellion. It should just barely get away, but it'll take a bit of hull damage or health damage. Medevac and Widowmine. So it looks like it'll be a Widowmine drop here, but will Blink be finished in time for it?
On top of that, look at the production tab. Look how many gateways are on the way. We have 3 gates on the way on top of the one that we already have. So it's going to be 4-gate Blink Stalker from Goblin. He's going to be looking to commit. He's going to be looking to apply that Blink Stalker pressure after he defends against this mine drop.
Yeah, and this could be you want to bring as many stalkers as possible to get the maximum kind of potential out of your push. But if he does that, he opens himself up to this Widowmine drop. And, yes, he can just warp in back at home to kind of deal with this. But it's going to be one of those cases that even then you're going to lose some firepower if you push with a bunker and a tank that's going to be finishing soon. It's going to be a hard kind of nut to crack. But we'll have to see how Goblin copes with this opening here by Cure.
Yeah. Exactly. Here we go. The mine drop is going to be going into the main base. At the same time, we have a Hellion and a Reaper ready to go into the natural as well. How much damage will be done? Can Goblin react in time? The Widowmine drop comes in and no reaction! No!
Oh, huge damage, just 2 Widowmines, and that's 11 workers going down already, like.
Yeah, and I mean, initially, mate, it's already 4-gate Blink Stalker, so he was already looking to be committed, but now the pressure is on Goblin. He has to deal an insane amount of counter damage to come back in this game.
Yeah, and the problem is, it's 4-gate Blink, so you do have a lot of gateways, but does he now have the economy to kind of sustain that? Because yes, he's probing back up, but every 2 probes is 100 minerals just aren't used in this attack.
Yeah, he's supply block. He only warped in 2 Stalkers, not 4, but he goes into the main base. There's already a tank in position, an order turret to try and buy some time. The boys are being pulled. The tank is being focused down.
Yeah, it does take out 1 tank. Does use the Adepts to kind of soak that splash as well, but we see here now some really nice kind of micro with the Warp Prism, but unfortunately it's not looking like enough damage for us if he's going down. He's working out. He's a little bit up there, but keep in mind Terran is mules, and he is a lot further behind than it may seem at the moment.
Yeah, there we go. He goes for another warp in. And with these Blink Stalkers, of course, they are very flexible. They can either poke into the main or the natural. The Prism is slipping into the main to try and distract Cure. At the same time, the main army is going into the natural.
Yes, it is. There's a bunker here in position, and this Zealot is just kind of chilling. Could possibly try and drop it on the tank. There is no stim yet, which is good. He's fully taken off some gases as more Widowmines go off at the... was that a Widowmine or was it the Hellion?
That was the same Widowmine drop. It came back in.
But yeah, this is it's looking rough for Goblin, and he needs to win this game. Like,
he really does, and 3 more workers go down. It looks like the Prism lost its shields as well to some of the Marine fire. Goblin is going to be taking a 3rd base behind this, and it looks like this mass amount of Blink Stalkers is really going to try and contain Cure. He's actually going to go for 1, or he could even try and go for 1 last-ditch effort here. He does blink into the main.
Yeah, and Stim not yet finished. This is kind of the perfect timing for Goblin. The tank is quite safe in the background. He's going to pull back a little bit and just blink away. but now with Stim finished, I think it was a good timing, but still I'm not sure, even because of the Widowmine drop, if he could have got something done there.
Exactly, exactly. And Goblin now has to be very careful not to lose too much. He takes a massive tank shot to the face. He will lose one Stalker on the front lines. At the same time, the Prism trying to slip into the main base, likewise, is going to be forced back.
It's going to be forced back indeed. And Goblin wants to take a choice. I don't know how I feel about this Immortals and Charge Loss. You know, it's easy to say I don't know how to feel about this, but you kind of have to consider you might need a bit of splash damage or something to help him kind of get the DPS to deal with this bio army, because as this game goes on, their DPS is just going to outshine the Protoss army. And I really don't know if he's going to have enough to just deal with this in general as the push comes across.
Yeah, and the question is, does he even have the resources to throw down a Robotics Bay, right? Like, he needs Immortals, he needs units now because Cure is pushing out across the map. At the same time, we do see a bit of a counterattack, but Cure did leave an army back at home, so the Prism doesn't find too much damage. And can Goblin hold here? He will have an Immortal defensively, he will have some shield batteries. Charge is still a ways off.
Way off indeed. It's a good counter timing here from Cure. He's actually attacking before his upgrade finishes, which means, you know, it's a slight risk there, but great kind of Shredder missile going down. And like, this is the position you want to hold as the Terran player.
It really is. The Immortal just melts here. At the same time, Goblin dives in and he gets the tank, but GG gets called. Cure will take game 1.
And not only game 1, but ABYDOS is going to take the series as well. So congratulations. Don't leave yet. Still another game to come. But yeah, what a bit of a hectic one. Unfortunate for Goblin, you gear up. It's I don't know. Like, I feel like, considering how many times Widowmine Drop's going to come into the fray. I know that I think Probe actually said that a medevac shows up as like a smaller dot on the minimap, so it's a bit harder to spot compared to, say, other flyers like Vikings. But it's very punishing. It's very kind of fortunate to see a game kind of get diverted that way.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it was straight up one swift move that just put Cure in the lead. You know, like the mine shot went off, and unfortunately the reaction was a little bit late. And from that moment, it's like, okay, well, Goblin, now you got to make something happen. You need to. And unfortunately, Cure knew that as well. All he had to do was focus on his defense back at home, and it was a very solid defense from Cure. He had already prematurely set up with his SimCity, with his tanks, with his bunkers. He was ready and waiting for Goblin to push into it.
He was indeed the hallmark of a very kind of, grizzled veteran. Cure hasn't done his military service, right? Or has he?
Not yet.
Not yet, no. So really kind of going the mile. But we're going to have to see that game in the past slide. We're going into map number 2. It's going to be on altitude. Goblin, nothing really to lose now. Playing for pride though. Interesting to see if the less pressure kind of helps me out a bit, because he really the build choice wasn't horrible. Cure did seem pretty prepared, but he almost had a considering how much economy he lost early on, he looked okay in a couple of moments that game.
Yeah, definitely. Like, there were some nice moves overall. So, even though ABYDOS will be advancing on here, we do see that Goblin has a chance to even things up anyway and do it not just for his own pride, but to show everyone that he can go toe-to-toe with the best of them. He will have a chance, and it is his map of choice, and he is going for Royal Blood.
Royal Blood. Okay, this is an interesting map. I don't mind this map, actually. Like, there are some rocks, there are some ledges and things, but I feel like Broodlords. I know this no Zerg. You've probably not casting any Zerg, but Broodlords could be decent on this map, which means, of course, Terran can be pretty annoying in the later stages of the game. So we'll see if Cure lets it get that late, or if Goblin decides to just throw something else wacky in off 2 bases and try and sneak a quick win.
Yeah, like, I'm sure Goblin does have something prepared here. It is his map choice, of course, and coming into this series, I'm sure he had kind of an idea that if he did end up losing the first game, he would have an idea of what he wanted to do in game number 2, so I'm really excited to see what it will be. I doubt it's going to be 4 Blink Stalker again. I highly doubt that. I expect something a little bit different, maybe a Stargate opener, maybe a proxy, maybe even, I don't know, a fast robo opener instead into a fast robotics bay. That Protoss, they've got options.
Yeah, they certainly do. Protoss, the race that has the most options, like I'm going to say. It's just by design, really. It's kind of, the gateway units. They're okay, but
Mhm.
the warping mechanic does kind of limit their effect. Imagine if you could warp in like 8 Banes in your opponent's mainline, or just warp
Oh,
in like
oh.
9 Stin Marines. Would be glorious. So the gateway units, they're not really, well, they can be overwhelming. It's more those supporting units, as we see here spawning the bottom left. It is a cure.
It's spawning in the top right hand corner. It is a goblin. All right, so the final game of the night, there will not be an ace match available. Oh, we're already here at the end, Chase. Made it to the end.
We are at the end, light. Um, to be honest, you're probably a bit more happier than me about that because you've been casting for longer. But yeah, we'll have to see. Will we go with a bang, or are we going to have a 80-minute long turtle cannon carrier liberator tank game?
I think
Ooh, ooh.
everyone wants a bang, Poppy. That's what
I
they
think
all want.
everyone wants that long stage game. Like, okay.
Oh. I'll settle for a long bang. As we are going to be getting ready here for our second game. So far, we do see a Rax expand here from Cure. So it looks to be a bit more of an economic area. I mean, it's very similar to game number one, very similar setup.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. It's pretty chill. Again, the probe just being a little bit harassing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, like, you didn't play early on, did you? I feel like we didn't see too much of this probe kind of micro until later, like later of Wings of Liberty.
Hmm.
I feel like we did, especially the mineral kind of
Mhm.
hopping, the mineral pushing. So
Yeah, yeah.
even just a small adaptation like that has really kind of evolved as the game's matured.
Yeah, I think the most recent one is it took until more than halfway through Legacy of the Void, where like the unnatural natural just became a meta thing, where
Mm.
the Protoss just shows up and just pylon blocks you, and just doesn't let you expand. So it's kind of crazy how the game has, even this late into its lifespan, has adapted and had these changes.
Yeah, and I am gonna say, like, as we see, SCV does just tag the Reaper. I'm surprised that not every Protoss player does that because it's very
Mm,
annoying.
true.
It's not a huge thing as Zergs have adapted to it, but it does. If you play two matchups a certain way and you play the third one, it
Mm,
throws you off a little bit. As this Adept is gonna, we see the shade into the main, I believe, just in
mm.
case the Reaper swings around. But yeah, you're right, lad. It's a crazy game.
Crazy, puppy, crazy. Speaking of crazy, I believe Goblin has a proxy pylon set up. Oh, let's go.
Gateway light. Oh, this could be a gateway timing. I'm so smart.
Yeah, I mean, I believe we're gonna have 3 gates in total. We have one back at home, we have 2 currently in production, and 3 gate aggression can snowball here against the Terran, especially because early on they have very limited units. We're working with Hellions, some mines, some Marines, no stim. This can catch Cure off guard if he isn't prepared for this.
Certainly can. Does have a bunker coming down. Is that the second bunker actually? Yeah, second bunker. So I
Hmm.
guess he smells something, like something smells funky. And I'll tell you
Hmm.
what, it's not you or me because I just showered. Maybe it's you, but
It's
Reaper.
Protoss.
Oh, this Protoss does catch that Reaper. So good little catch. Every little bit helps when you're being aggressive like this.
Yeah, and you can see that Cure is being very defensive because he's even got a Cyclone on the way, the most defensive unit made. Oh my god, he's got a bunker in his mineral line as well. He's ready for Adepts to shade in. He just read this so well.
Yeah, and did Goblin miss a warp in because he was floating 600, 400 for a little bit. His depths
Mm,
are going to actually get trapped a little bit. But no, I think they're going to be okay, and more depths going to come in too. It's not
mm.
full commitment, as we see Twilight throwing down and probes behind this, but it is a pretty heavily kind of committed pressure here. And yeah, it looks like he sees just how much Cure's kind of defending here. It's not going to commit any further.
He's going to try and get as many SCVs as possible. He gets 3 SCVs for his troubles, but I'm sure he was looking for more damage. Unfortunately, this opener from Goblin does delay his tech. It means his Twilight Council is later, his Robo is later, everything else is later.
Everything else indeed is later light. That is a Raven as well. Stalker should be able to get away. Yeah, it does as the adepts come in too. And it looks like Blink, yeah, pretty normal follow-up here from Goblin. So yes, he didn't get the most damage done, but he kind of, kept tabs on Cure, and now he's entering the mid game on relatively even kind of footing.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess that's maybe a bit of a blessing in disguise, is that the aggression of Goblin did kind of force a reaction out of Cure, and that meant that Goblin didn't have to deal with anything like Widow Mine drops, for example. He's been left alone at home. He can slowly take a third base and take advantage of that third as well. His map control isn't anywhere near as strong as it could be, though, because Blink is still only halfway done.
Blink is only halfway done. Indeed, like at the moment,
Oh,
he's got a bit of a soft contain going on here. We don't see Stim yet. Does that mean Stim's finished? I wasn't kind of actually looking. Surely not, right?
I don't believe Stim is done. I think it is. I don't think we had a tech lab on that Rax, but here we go. The Marines are pushing on forward here, and they're going to be able to catch the sentry late reaction.
Yeah, there's no shield battery or some probes going down as well. This is the thing when you contain is all your units are across the map. A recall, I don't know if a recall's been forced, but just warping a couple more stalkers. Blink about to finish, but Cure actually gets out at that perfect time. Oh my god, lady, he's so good. He's going to drop the third too.
How does he know, Puppy? Blink just now finishes up, but he's already the hell out of there. He's going to deny mining at the third base. More economic damage. Again, a great way to punish this opener because he knew that Blink would be delayed.
He did know, indeed. He knew the timing. These players are so good, like as we see. Look at that production tab for the Terran. He's got a lot going on. Third base landed as well, and actually no, the third base just being placed right now. I was looking at it. I got confused, like I was looking at the blue and the red.
It's all good,
Yeah.
Bobby. It's all good. We do have a little bit of harassment, though. Adepts do get into the main base, but there's a tank in position. I think they get one SCV, but only a singular SCV. Cure with a great defense once again. And as you were saying, there's going to be a bit of a timing available to him with Stim and +1. Medevacs are on the way. I'm sure he's going to be wanting to push out once those upgrades are finishing.
Yeah, and we do see this is a very varied army by a Terran player. You've got Widow Mines, you've got Marauders, you've got plenty of upgrades, extra barracks being thrown down too. Again, these Adepts coming in and being a little bit annoying, and there's only 51 SCVs for Cure, so it does look like it's going to be a two-base timing. And he's just banking on lots and lots of kind of bio firepower. So the onus is going to be in Goblin to hold this attack, as we see some harassment going on as well. But it's going to be a pretty tough hold. Look how many units he has, like.
Oh god, that is a lot of units. You can see the disparity in army supply right now. But Cure has to be a little bit careful. Blink is done, by the way, and then we're gonna be Blink on forward, but there aren't enough stalkers to take down that medevac. So Cure is gonna get out of there. At the same time, his main army is gonna try and push forward, but Goblin does have eyes on it.
He does indeed, and he does have that gateway still on the map, so keep in mind he could even warp in some counterattacks as his bunkers salvage is going to force these stalkers away. There is concussive shell, actually, no, not yet, almost finished. But yeah, this buyer's going to run across the map pretty quickly, and is there any shield batteries at the third base? I really don't know, maybe one light.
Maybe one. I mean, we're not even fighting with it. We do have a massive anti-armor missile on the Immortals and some of those Zealots, as Cure is going to be pushing on forward. He has that flanking drop as well on the right-hand side as the Zealots get melted.
Yeah, and that's the buffer kind of gone, and even the bio buffering for these tanks that aren't even sieged, and with the shield battery overcharge, even he may be able to hold here, but he's lost his Immortals, lad.
Yeah, every Immortal went down. There was a disable on the Immortal as well, which does mean that these tanks survived a little bit longer. The Zealots are getting cleaned up. Stalkers against Marauders is something you never really want to see, but we are running out of steam for Cure, but he does go into the drop into the main.
Yeah, and that is a really good drop position too. Forces, some extra warp. Let's get the medevac. These units will be taken out, but the units that aren't on the front field as Cure is rallying and putting the pressure on this third base. She does have a shield battery, but it's going to help a bit. But there's so many Marauders, like, yeah, it's going to be forced to give this base up.
Yeah, because of the Marauder count, he can just focus down the Nexus. The Nexus is going to go down. The Stalkers are going to try and engage, but if they overextend, there are some mines.
Oh, and yeah, blinking a little bit late there. Third base goes down, and unfortunately for Goblin, he doesn't really have any kind of tech choices such as DTs to kind of get him back into this game. But Cure is not stopping. He is not taking the gas at his third base. He is just making bio.
Oh, the
fourth base, the probes are going to get encountered as well, lad. And this is looking tough for our European Protoss player.
Yeah, it really is. Zealots were stuck behind the army as well. Mindshot is going to be going off with the death of those Zealots. Cure can now focus on that fourth base on the right-hand side. The probes are there. They are exposed, and Cure just continues to rally everything across the map.
That he does. And Immortal now joining in to help out some extra Zealots, but there's just not enough buffer. These units going to melt. Widow Mines are going to actually just going to upper and get a bit closer. And we have even Ghost Academy on the way, lad.
A very cute micro with those Widow Mines, but the army falls. GG gets called, and Cure will take the series 2-0.
That's it, and it will be a 5-1 victory to ABYDOS. I got sneeze. Oh, I'm muted. All right. Yeah, 5-1 victory for ABYDOS over Platinum Heroes.
Yeah, but, you know, shout out to the players on Platinum Heroes, Goblin and Art, but especially ShaDoWn, because the game that he took against Creator was very impressive. ShaDoWn, he is a top player in Europe, but, you know, there are others that people think of, you know, like Max Pax, Showtime, Mana, Geralt, even Art at times. So ShaDoWn was the underdog in that series, and for him to take a game against Creator and be as cheeky as to go for a ninja base and get away with it, like, what a game to take from Creator. So I hope that I hope that he's proud of it, but not just him, but also his team as well are proud of ShaDoWn.
Yeah, he really set the pace, and that's what you want, you know, your teammates to do, really kind of give you that kind of big up and set the, as I said before, set the pace, really show you that it can be possible, and keep the opponents on their toes as well, because I'm sure you know, their opponents were thinking it wasn't going to be the hardest, but just when you take a victory, especially when it's the first game, was it the first game? Yeah. With a cute little, you know, slight variation to your tactic, it's very, you know, it does kind of force your opponents to really kind of consider, oh, well, these guys are, you know, they're really ones to look out for. This is not going the way we planned it.
Exactly. So again, it was a great start here for Platinum Heroes. In the end, ABYDOS did take the series, but they were the favorites anyway. Like, they've got like such big names, so no harm, no foul, especially because Platinum Heroes, they already made it into Codes. They already qualified for the event, for the main event, I should say, so they will be a part of that. Do not fret if you want some more Platinum Heroes action. Meanwhile, we still have 3 more matches ahead of us. Tomorrow, we are going to be continuing this on with Berserker Esports versus Invictus Gaming and Starlight Twinkle versus ABYDOS.
Yeah, we certainly will. Yeah, Invictus Gaming always got some strong Chinese players on it, but Starlight, Twinkle, and ABYDOS, Berserker Esports as well. These teams that they've been around, or not in the case of some of the new ones, but Invictus Gaming and Berserker have been around for a long time. Basilisk, another team that's going to be a scary one to see, who I assume will be playing the winner. Is that the grand final of the WTL Light?
That's the grand final of Code A of WTL. Yeah.
Code A, ooh.
Yeah, the other big teams like Dragon KZ Gaming and all these other big names like Alpha X, for example, like they're all waiting in Code S. You know, Code A here is to determine the seeding and which teams will make it through into that big main event, which will be coming in a couple of weeks. But until then, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Hope you enjoyed the cast. Hope you enjoyed some Chase, because Chase, we don't get to cast as often anymore, so I appreciate you coming on tonight. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was very impromptu, right? But we got there in the end. It has been a busy week, so but yeah, we joined again, I'm sure. But yeah, thank you for casting with me, right?
It's all good, Papi. It's all good. And you know what? If people wanted to tune into some more Chase action, you know, I know you don't stream that often, but whenever you do stream or whenever you do tweet, where can they find you, Chase? Where can they find you?
You can find me on twitch.tv/OzCraftSC, OzCraftGG. And watch my VODs there from the last LAN for Jackson. I think it's Jackson Kelvin.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There you go. Exclamation mark Chase in the chat. Exclamation mark Chase. You get his links. You get his links.
Get my links.
Beautiful. Also, you can follow me at light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter as well. I do stream throughout the week. I've been streaming some Diablo 2 recently. It's my first playthrough of Diablo 2, and it's been a lot of fun. A little bit of heartbreak as well. I did lose my first companion last time.
Oh, it's no good.
But I was watching Asher play Diablo 4 beta, and I got hooked, and I was like, I want some Diablo action, so I started playing Diablo 2 to kind of satiate my hunger.
Satiate it, like satiate.
Oh, yeah. But if you want some more CranKy Duckling action, then follow the CranKy Ducklings Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. You can support us on Patreon. You can support us on YouTube. You can subscribe on Twitch. You can do all of the above if you want. And our next broadcast is going to be tomorrow afternoon. In less than 24 hours is going to be ESL Open Cup Asia. So be sure to tune in for that, for some Korean StarCraft. In also less than 24 hours, we'll be casting World Team League day number 7 for Code.
Woo. Get hyped. Get keen.
Get hype, puppy. Get hype. With that, Chase, do you have anything you want to say before we head off for the evening?
No, I don't. Sorry. Do you have anything you want to share with our wonderful viewers?
Chase, wink at me, puppy. Wink at me.
I'm winking. You can't see it. I'm winking at everyone.
Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks for the support. We will see you guys tomorrow for KSL and for more WTL. Sorry, for ESL Asia and more WTL. See you then.
Bye.
Ciao.